Assalamualaikum. In this video, we will be talking about information security, risk treatment, and also risk acceptance. There are 4 options available for risk treatment: risk modification, risk retention, risk avoidance, and also risk sharing. Risk treatment options should be selected based on the outcome of the risk assessment, the expected cost for implementing these options, and the expected benefit from these options. The 4 options for risk treatment are not mutually exclusive. Sometimes the organization can benefit substantially by a combination of options such as reducing the likelihood of risk, reducing their consequences, and sharing or retaining any residual risk. Some risk treatment can effectively address more than one risk. Once the risk treatment plan has been defined, residual risks need to be determined. Risk treatment plan and residual risk subject to the acceptance decision of the organization's managers.
And I will talk about risk modification. The level of risk should be managed by introducing, removing, or altering controls to reassess residual risk. The selection take account of risk acceptance criteria, cost, time frame, or technical and environmental aspect. Controls may have several protections such correction, elimination, prevention, and etc. We also should consider the return on investment in terms of risk residue and specialized skill needed to define and implement new controls or existing one. Besides implementation, we should aware of these constraints such as performance requirement, manageability, and compatibility issue. Manager should find a solution that can guarantee sufficient information security. The come out of this step is we should come out a list of possible controls, cost, benefit, and priority of implementation.
Talk about risk retentions. In other words, we keep or withhold the risk. The decision on retaining the risk without further action should be taken depending on risk evaluations. If the level of risk meets the risk acceptance criteria of an organization, there is no need for implementing additional controls and the risk can be retained. So we need to look back at risk acceptance criteria of an organization. So risk avoidance. We move to risk avoidance now. It is the activity or conditions that give rise to the particular risk or level of risk should be avoided. When the identified risks are considered too high or the cost to implement risk treatment didn't give any benefits, a decision may be made to avoid the risk completely. It can be done by withdrawing the planned activities itself or maybe change the conditions under which the activity is
I'll be
operated.
explaining about risk sharing. Risk sharing is basically a practice of sharing risks amongst organizations, departments, teams, or individuals. This is one of the methods of risk treatment where organizations share their risks with other parties and in some cases with external parties that can most effectively manage that particular set of risks depending on risk evaluation. Risk sharing doesn't mean that pushing the threat or bad outcome on someone else. Rather, it means reducing the number of likelihood and impact of uncertainty. For example, an insurance policy transfer a particular set of risks, for example, fire or flood risk for a particular asset. Taxes transfer or share the risks with others so that we all can enjoy the police, fire, and military protection. For a project manager, it is very important to distribute or share the risks properly as it can be the only difference between success and failure for that organization.
So risk acceptance is an action where the decision to accept the risk and responsibility for a decision should be made and formally recorded. So how do we implement the risk acceptance? So firstly, the risk treatment plan should describe how assessed risks are to be treated to meet risk acceptance criteria. It is important for managers to review and approve proposed risk treatment plan. So risk treatment plan is a complex. It is more than determining whether the risks fall above or below a single threshold. In some cases, the level of residual risk does not meet the specification of risk acceptance criteria because the criteria being applied does not take in account. For example, some cases it may not necessary to accept the risk because of the benefit come along with the risk. However, it is not always possible to revise the risk acceptance criteria timely. So it is important for the decision maker should explicitly comment on the risk and include justification for decision that the decision maker made. Okay, thank you.